everyone. I'm delighted to be here with you today to talk about helping you come up with $1 million idea and become rich and famous. If there's anyone who's not interested in that, we can leave now. But if you'd like to stick around, I will make you all into inventors. Now, the rich and famous part's going to be a little harder, but we'll talk about that too. I hold, as Gideon said, 10 U.S. patents. Every single one of them, well, the last one I'm just getting, so it hasn't made any money yet, but I got an interested party, so that's important. But all of them do make money, as some are no longer drawing royalties, some still are. And I've been doing it for a number of years, but to give you a little background so you'll understand how I got into this and perhaps how it applies to what you might be able to do, I started in the advertising business. And I was a creative copywriter, and then I became creative director of a small agency, and then a larger agency liked my work and brought me into their agency, and then I became associate promotion director for a large agency on the West Coast, and one of their major clients was the Clorox company. And the Clorox company at that time had just been divested by Procter & Gamble, and so they were doing a lot of new product introductions. So I was a member of the teams that introduced Clorox 2 Dry Bleach, maybe you're familiar with that, Formula 409 Spray Cleaner, 409 Disinfectant Bathroom Cleaner, Liquid Plumber, Litter Green, Hidden Valley Ranch Salad Dressings, Kingsford Charcoal, and a host of products that were miserable failures as well. So not everything I've introduced has been a success, but the successful ones were very successful. Something that you probably have come in contact with, the first fast food game. It was used by McDonald's in 1976, and then we ran those programs for years all around the world. So if you ever, as a kid, went into a McDonald's and got a game piece or won a hamburger, you were probably playing one of my games. So we're here today to talk about thinking creatively, and probably more importantly, what we're going to do today is learn how to invent. Everybody can invent. It is not a gift from God that only a few people inherit. For those of you who are creatively challenged, creativity is a habit of mind. It's a way of thinking. It isn't a gift at all. Creative novel products does take it's a skill. It's like playing the piano or playing basketball. You can learn how to do it. Anybody can learn how to do it. And thinking in an inventive way takes practice, not genius. I think that's one of the first misconceptions that everybody has. This is a genius. This is Thomas Alva Edison. This is what he said about inventing. Not giving up is the genius part. Now, this is a really terrific inventor. I mean, he had 1,000 U.S. patents. He came up with the electric light. He came up with the talking machine, the phonograph. He came up with motion picture film. Well, what is invention? Very simply, coming up with two things, each of which do their own thing, and making a third thing out of it is invention. Now, this is what Edison said. My principal business is giving commercial value to the brilliant but misdirected ideas of others. I find out what the world wants, and I proceed to invent it. Now, folks, this is the whole message of the whole deal. I find out what the world wants, then I proceed to invent it. Don't invent something nobody will pay for. There's no point. Edison was a great inventor because he invented products, not stuff. And this is a very important insight into the inventive mind. Because I readily absorb ideas from every source, I am sometimes accurately described as more of a sponge than an inventor. The world is full of ideas. And those ideas or products go for specific uses and functions. The inventor sees all those things and puts various pieces of these puzzles together to come up with a new thing that does something totally unexpected. You must be willing, though, to put together unusual and illogical ideas, because the reason we are not more creative is because we listen to something inside us that says, ain't ever going to work. That's why inventors are always a little strange. They're the kind of person who says, I'm willing to try anything to solve this problem. You've got to be willing to try just about anything, different combinations, stuff that's not obvious. Hey, if it was obvious, somebody else would have already thought of it. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. So what I do when I sit down to solve a problem is I try combination after combination of things that I think are close to what will actually work. Has a little shred of it. It's almost an intuitive process, sort of feeling your way along. It's a way of seeing the world that other people don't usually see, and it takes some practice, so you have to be patient with yourself. You're not trained in school to think this way. You're trained to think logically. One step leads to the next. It's that step over the line, out of the box, you've heard that used, that makes the difference in invention. So if you think you're creatively challenged, it isn't that you're creatively challenged. God gave you creative insights and abilities. You're just afraid to use them, and you've never had a chance to. But you can train yourself to do that. And there are a lot of real good reasons why you should. Because inventive people, creative people, are almost always people who make the most money and get the furthest ahead. You're trying to give yourself an edge out there. And if you're the person who can solve problems, instead of just follow everybody else, you will be outstanding. And you will be the leader. And people will come to you and say, gee, Jeff, I need some help on this project. And people will come and listen to you. Because you'll be able to think out of the box, fresh ways, new ways to think about a problem, and you'll be able to come up with a solution.